Phillip Ingram, a former senior military intelligence officer who joins us, as he often does, on a Thursday, also joined by Chairman of Republicans Overseas UK, Greg Swenson, as well. Good morning to you both.
Here, good morning.
Absolute pleasure. Yeah, you're both looking quite happy, I'm not going to lie. I have to say, in our building, very different reactions on different floors. Even within our own office.
I've noticed.
You know, I mean, certainly in our section of us, we're all cackling, thinking it's all hilarious. And you can still think that Donald Trump, you know, do I want him? Do I want him in the same room as my daughter? No. But you know, do I think he's a good person? No. Am I delighted he's actually going to be the next president of the United States? Yes, I am, for many different reasons. But a lot of people still absolutely distraught about this. In terms of the reaction here in the UK, Phillip Ingram, let's come to you first. I mean, people have lost their frigging minds. I think it's not unreasonable to say.
Yeah, and I can see why people don't like Donald Trump, and you know, from a personal perspective, I don't like him at all. But actually, the alternative, you know, where we've got, you know, a US president at the minute who has openly supported a terror organisation listed in the United States and the UK, and its political wing, IRA Sinn Féin, and you know,
so many American political
exactly, but at that sort of level, and then
defund the police,
his sidekick
BLM
coming in, and you know, it was a complete disaster. And everyone cites Ukraine as a potential issue. Look at how much has been held back under the Biden administration in support to Ukraine. I think that people have been giving Donald Trump the wrong headlines when it comes to what he's going to do in Ukraine, but I'm sure we'll discuss that.
I think he may well be able to be influenced on that issue, although I'm hearing from other sources that actually they are planning, like, no, he's going to say you're going to have to do a deal. We'll see what happens there. Greg Swenson, I mean, obviously you live here, but obviously from American, it's rather obvious from the voice. But Greg, I mean, people have lost their minds over in America as well, and we saw Kamala Harris's concession speech. I mean, it took a long time, didn't it, lady?
Yeah.
I mean, she looked, I'm going to be honest, she looked a little bit worse for wear. There's been a lot of rumours going round about certain interest in a little swig here or there. Is that a load of nonsense or not? But either way, I've got to be honest with you. I was glad to see the back of her. I'm very happy about that. But it does appear to me that no one on the left, no one in the Democrats, is remotely capable of learning the lessons.
It's unbelievable. I mean, they're completely unhinged, and if there's no self-reflection there. There's no. I mean.
Well, everyone's just a racist and a sexist.
Exactly.
That's why they didn't vote for her.
I mean, Trump. There's many people who really like Trump. I like Trump. When I'm critical of Trump, I'm critical of him because he makes mistakes that annoy me because I want him to win.
He makes me laugh. I do chuckle when I hear him.
He's not a perfect candidate, you know. So my frustrations with Trump are, you know, not orange man bad, but rather I wish he hadn't said that because that's going to cost him 2 points in the polls. You know, so I'm more transactional with it. Yes, I'd be fine with him hanging out with my daughter. I wouldn't let Tim Walz hang out with my daughter or my son.
You make a fair point.
If you know, when they were younger. So you know, but they're totally unhinged, and they're forgetting that Trump is not the greatest candidate ever. He's not Ronald Reagan in 80 and 84, you know, with 49 states. He won partly because many people like him, but because the Democrats were so bad. The Biden administration, which she's attached to, Kamala, was so bad. I could have beat him. I could have beat her.
This is like that old joke, you know, if you've been on safari in South Africa, where they say, you know, you don't have to be able to run faster than the lion. You just need to have to run faster than the person with you. You know, that's all you need to do.
That's right.
And that's the thing. He isn't like. I don't think people will go, yeah. I think they'll be like, you know, the MAGA Trump fans, fanatical about him. Yeah, they still think he won in 2020. They think he's literally the second coming. You know, that's fine, and that's what they think. But actually, we can see from the polling, actually, he's got massive negative ratings, Donald Trump. But he was the better of two options. I think most people actually the view that neither option was great, but he was definitely the better one. It was clear to me that was the case. Let's have a little watch and listen to Kamala Harris. I mean, look, we're not going to have to do this anymore. We're not going to have to hear from this woman or watch this woman and see her stupid laugh and everything about her. Just irritates so badly. We're just going to do it today, and then it's all over. Apart from the people who think she's going to run again in 4 years. No. Hilarious. It never. She ain't going to get the nomination in 4 years anyway. But let's have a little watch and listen of what she had to say when she finally, 9 p.m. UK time, came out to give her concession speech. Here's what she had to say.
I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service.
I mean, I've just no idea. I just lost interest about 5 seconds into that, as I'm sure.
I have no idea what you just said.
Switched off from listening to that. But this was very similar. Carla Denyer, the Green Party leader, yesterday talked about lighting a candle in the darkness. They try and make it all poetic. I mean, that was written by AI.
Right, of course. It's
it was though.
It's horrible, and at least with Biden, when he has the word salad, you can say, okay, poor guy has cognitive issues. He's 106 years old. She's 59. She's 60. Just turned 60. Yeah. She's a smart woman. I mean, she's intelligent. I mean, she's capable of reading.
She's on paper. She's one of those people that look on paper is really intelligent. Except she can't answer a question without teleprompter. Right. That does not say clever to me. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Anyway.
But I mean, she's capable of reading and articulating. When I say articulating,
I mean, you don't even believe what you're...
I have no idea what she said. No. I mean, she can utter words, whereas Biden sometimes cannot utter words.
What's that old line about the, I think she repeated 20 million times about what we put away, move away from what has been and look to what could be. I mean, no one knows Kamala, but we never have to know anymore. Phillip Ingram, I want you to tell me what you think of this when Kamala Harris said that she had actually had a phone call, finally, at long last, with the now President-elect Donald Trump.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny.
I thought she was going to cry during that, Philip. I mean, she's making a fair point, and I still think that what Donald Trump did in 2020 and 2021 was absolutely untenable. And I do think that did make him unfit for re-election again, apart from the fact if the people want to vote for him, then I believe in democracy. Fundamentally, though, she doesn't really believe in democracy because they actually think that people who vote against them are bad people.
Well, very much so. And she compared your democracy to monarchy. I think the transition between Her Majesty the Queen and King Charles went very smoothly indeed. And every government that we've
had... Well, there wasn't another candidate,
but every government that we've had under Her Majesty and under King Charles, and both have had several
we don't have shops and restaurants being boarded up in our capital city when we have an election, which they have. They have a massive issue with their democracy.
And we don't have hundreds of Secret Service agents keeping those in power away from the public.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? Well, look, the question I want to ask our audience today, and you've been, getting in touch in your droves over the last 24 hours or so, is what should British politicians learn from Donald Trump's victory in the US election? I know you'll probably also still want to get in touch about, let's face it, the sheer joy of the lefty meltdown. This, to me, is just like Brexit 2016. It is December 2019 with Boris Johnson's victory. I mean, this is where we are. This is the territory we're in terms of this absolute inability of people on the left to grasp what is going on. They don't know anyone who thinks differently from them. They don't trust anyone or like anyone who may think differently from them, and this has blown them away. It's happened again and again and again. So what should British politicians learn from Donald Trump's victory in the US election? Put that question to you, Phillip Ingram.
Well, I think British politicians need to start to look at things from a US perspective. And from a US perspective, when Trump comes in, the Labour Party equal the Democrats, because his team will simplify it and just say that's it. Yep. And therefore Starmer with Lamé and his front bench team equal a Biden-Harris mix. And therefore, they are, and that's the starting point for the relationship. Never mind all the statements that have been made by senior Labour politicians and now front benchers undermining and against Donald Trump and his team.
And to you, Greg, so I mean, how do you think Donald Trump will deal with this? He obviously responds to flattery. We've seen this from Zelensky, and everyone to say, "Oh, well done, you're amazing, you're amazing." He definitely loves that stuff. He laps it up, and we know that Keir Starmer and David Lammy have been on a charm offensive because of knowing how he operates and their past diplomatic misdemeanours. But what should politicians here learn from that victory?
It's easy. Listen to the people. And
don't be silly. That'll never catch on.
Look.
I'm not having people coming on talking that nonsense, Greg.
I'm rude of me. No, I mean, I was in Ireland a lot in this election cycle, talking to the Marxist media there, and going to the Marxist universities, which is a shame. I mean, I was at a society that was founded by Edmund Burke, and it was completely Marxist. I mean, they hated Kamala because she was too moderate. I mean, this is nuts.
Wow. Okay.
And so, but I came away from there thinking, this is funny. The people, their biggest issues, two big issues, were illegal migration and the cost of living crisis.
Yep.
And the top two priorities of the government there and here are misinformation, policing,
tweets,
and the climate, the existential crisis of climate change. It's a complete disconnect. And then they wonder why Donald Trump won by 3.5 points against someone who had the entire media complex actively supporting her.
I mean,
amazing.
If you cannot win when you are Kamala Harris and you have got the full, I mean, other than Fox News,
backing.
They had full institutional backing from anyone and everyone and every celebrity. I mean, I'm just amazed that Taylor Swift didn't win it for her, aren't you?
But I think it's interesting. If you look at who backed Kamala, it's all the lovies in Taylor Swift and Hollywood greats.
And their gated mansions.
Who backed Trump? It was businessmen. It was people who were running international businesses and the richest man in the world. That says something about your policies.
Well, no, I think the key thing about Elon Musk is not just the richest man in the world. I mean, he's a bit crazy, but brilliant people often are. But he gets stuff done. I'm fascinated by him going into American blob bureaucracy and going in with this sort of efficiency drive and getting rid of people because, my God, he did that at Twitter, now X. His own organisation, Lean and Mean. If you don't like it, leave. Now, that is going to be fascinating to watch because if every single thing that we've got problems with, whether it's, the illegal migrant arrivals in the tens of thousands, 10 plus at least million in America, bloated bureaucracy, huge government debt, the woke ideology that's permeated every aspect of bureaucracy. That's in spades in America. I think this is the stuff that ordinary people have just gone, no, this isn't for me anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, this was the rejection of cultural imperialism, of Bidenomics, of regulatory overreach, which became regulatory insanity. And where you can't do anything without getting permission from Big Brother. And then you had the lawfare, and people get that, right? And then I find it really amusing. The Democrats have been on TV and radio with the last 36 hours, and they say, "Oh, we're so afraid they're unhinged. We're afraid that Trump is going to use the justice system against his opponents." Yeah. And I'm thinking, like,
you did that.
Hysterical coming from them. It's not just paranoid, it's just so ironic that they just did that for 4 years.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on all that we're talking about.